Do you think they're upset because you supposedly did it the wrong way, or you think they're upset that you did it at all?
I think they're upset that by President Trump enforcing the law, it happened so quickly and successfully.
Yeah. Now, when President Biden came into office, the first thing he did was get rid of all of the things we were doing to stop people from coming into our country illegally, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, it was like The Price is Right. Come on down. Except he said, come on in. And most of my Democratic colleagues went along with that, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they did.
In fact, they cheered him on, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to America Viewpoint, where we speak the truth, defend our freedoms, and fight for the values that made this nation great. No censorship, no woke spin, just bold, unfiltered commentary from real Americans who love this country. If you're tired of the lies and ready to stand for faith, family, and freedom, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the Liberty Bell, because this is where the fight begins. Today, we're breaking down one of the most refreshing exchanges you'll ever see in a Senate hearing. Senator John Kennedy, a man who has never been afraid to speak plain truth, sat across from Governor Kristi Noem, and he asked the one question that cuts right to the heart of America's border crisis. Are Democrats upset because you secure the border? Simple question, explosive answer. And what followed wasn't just a political back and forth. It was a stark reminder of the difference between an America that enforces its laws and an America that waves people through without a second thought.
Madam
I'm sorry,
Secretary,
this is...
you pretty much secured the southern border, haven't you?
Yes, sir. The CBP,
And that upsets some of my colleagues, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. They say you've done it the wrong way, haven't they? Mm-hmm. Could you answer that?
Yes, sir. They do say that.
Do you think they're upset because you supposedly did it the wrong way, or you think they're upset that you did it at all?
I think they're upset that by President Trump enforcing the law, it happened so quickly and successfully.
Yeah. Now, when President Biden came into office, the first thing he did was get rid of all of the things we were doing to stop people from coming into our country illegally, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, it was like The Price is Right. Come on down. Except he said, come on in. And most of my Democratic colleagues went along with that, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they did.
In fact, they cheered him on, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
How many people do you think President Biden let into our country illegally? Just give me a ballpark figure.
Sir, we don't know for certain, but we believe it could be upwards to 20 million people that are illegally in this country.
So that's like adding 10 Nebraskas to our country, isn't it?
That's correct.
Why do you think President Biden and my Democratic colleagues did that? Do you think they believe in open borders?
I think they believed in open borders and letting people come into this country that would affect our society and criminals. Those other countries emptying out the worst of the worst, their mental institutions, their prisons came in here and jeopardized, and known terrorists.
Well, only one or two circumstances are possible, it seems to me. Either President Biden and the Democrats who supported him believe in open borders, or the people that President Biden put in charge of securing the border, you wouldn't trust to run a snowball stand, right?
That is correct.
So nobody is that incompetent. So it has to be, they just believe in open borders, do they not?
Yes, because I know the people who were securing the border and they weren't allowed to do their job.
Do you think they believe that vetting people at the border is racist?
Yes, I do. I think by the way they allowed people in and granted them immediate parole status.
Do you think that President Biden and some of my Democratic colleagues, I don't want to paint with too broad a brush, Madam Secretary, thought of these foreign nationals in our country illegally as potential new voters?
I do, sir.
Okay. If you're an ordinary American and you oppose illegal immigration, but you support legal immigration, does that make you a racist?
No, sir. No, sir, not at all. It just means that you believe there should be a rule of law, and that's what America was built on.
And that's what you've been enforcing, right?
Exactly. We have been following the Constitution and the rule of law in this country.
And I want to be sure I understand, because there's been a lot of confusing testimony here. You've secured the border, have you not?
This administration has, yes, sir.
And some of my colleagues are upset with you,
Yes, sir.
and they say you did it wrong.
Yes, sir.
And do you agree with me that what they're really upset about is that you did it at all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to ask you a last question about our federal judiciary. I've said repeatedly that all of us has a moral and a civic obligation to follow federal orders, and I stand by that. But there have been a lot of national injunctions, universal injunctions issued to try to stop you from doing your job. Where were these judges when people were breaking the law and coming into our country illegally? Were any of them speaking up and issuing national injunctions against the Democrats?
I don't believe I can be specific about every single judge, but these judges that now are trying to stop us from enforcing our laws, I don't believe or recall them.
Can you
being
think,
vocal then.
Madam Secretary, of one single solitary federal judge who, when President Biden and my Democratic colleagues, not all of them, but many of them,
Gentleman's time has expired.
Secretary or Senator Murray went on over about 2 minutes, so I'm going to take a minute.
Senator Van
Well, if
Hollen
you
just got
can-
shut down.
Yes,
right
if
on
you
the
can,
zeros.
if you can finish your question.
Can you recall one single solitary federal judge when President Biden and my Democratic colleagues were letting 20 million people come into the country illegally?
I don't recall.
Can you think of one
you.
single solitary judge
you.
that
This
issued
more
a
than-
national
Thank you. This is
injunction
more than
to
one
stop
question.
them?
No, I can't recall
I
one.
can't either. If there weren't
you,
for
Senator
double
Kennedy.
standards
Madam
around
Chair,
here,
Okay.
Madam
there
And
wouldn't
so
be any
Senator Peters.
standards at all, Madam Secretary.
Thank you.
Committee
Thank
down
you,
there.
Senator Kennedy.
I'd-
Senator Peters.
Madam, let me just say, let's apply the rules fairly. Senator Van Hollen was asking tough questions, but was shut down pretty immediately when his time was expired. Can we at least have a commitment, Madam Chair, that senators on this committee will be allowed to submit questions for the record,
Absolutely.
and that you will
Yes.
Absolutely.
ask the secretary to answer those questions?
Before we even get into the back and forth, let's put this in context. Under President Donald Trump, America had the most secure southern border in modern history. It wasn't perfect. No border ever is, but the numbers don't lie. Illegal crossings plummeted. Border Patrol finally had the tools they've been asking for. The Remain in Mexico policy, keeping asylum seekers outside the U.S. while claims were processed. Construction of hundreds of miles of border wall in key high-traffic areas. Title 42 expulsions, allowing for swift removal of illegal entrants during a public health emergency. Aggressive agreements with Central American nations to stem the flow of migrants before they even reached our border. It was a deterrence-based approach, sent a clear message. If you try to cross illegally, you will be stopped and you will be sent back. Then January 20th, 2021 came. President Joe Biden took office, and on day one, his administration began dismantling those very policies. Day one, it wasn't gradual. It wasn't measured. It was wholesale reversal. Senator Kennedy opens with a compliment masked as a question. You've pretty much secured the southern border, haven't you? Kristi Noem's answer, yes, sir. From there, Kennedy drops the truth bomb. That upsets some of my colleagues, doesn't it? They say you did it the wrong way. And that's when the real point of this hearing comes into focus. It's not about how she did it. It's about the fact that she did it all. Noem doesn't mince words. She says flat out, the reason some on the left are upset is because Trump enforced the law quickly and successfully. That's it. That's the crime. Think about that for a second. If securing your nation's borders enforcing immigration law and keeping out criminals is controversial. Then what exactly is the job of government? Is it to protect its citizens or to appease activists? Kennedy then points out the obvious. The first thing Biden did was tear down the very measures that were keeping illegal immigration under control. Noem compares it to a game show. It was like The Price is Right. Come on down. Except he said, come on in. And here's the kicker. Most of Kennedy's Democratic colleagues cheered it on. This wasn't some quiet policy shift behind closed doors. It was celebrated. It was branded as compassion. But compassion without order is chaos. Kennedy presses her. How many people do you think President Biden has let into the country illegally? Noem's answer, upwards of 20 million. Let that sink in. That's 10 Nebraskas worth of people, entering not through a legal process, but through an open door. No vetting, no accountability, no control. And if you think 20 million sounds high, remember this. Official apprehension numbers are already in the millions per year, and that doesn't include the gotaways, the ones Border Patrol never even sees. Noem makes a critical point that the mainstream media conveniently avoids. It's not just families looking for a better life. She says other countries have emptied out the worst of the worst, their prisons, their mental institutions, and sent them our way. That means violent criminals. That means gang members. That means people with ties to terrorism. Now, ask yourself, if the first job of government is to keep its people safe, what do you call a policy that knowingly lets danger walk right in? That's not leadership. That's surrender. Kennedy lays out the choice. Either Biden's team is so incompetent they couldn't run a snowball stand, or they believe in open borders. Noem doesn't hesitate. Open borders. And here's why that matters. Incompetence can be fixed with better leadership. Ideology? That's intentional. Then comes one of the most politically charged, yet logical, questions of the day. Did Biden and some Democrats see illegal immigrants as potential new voters? Noem, I do, sir. It's not conspiracy. It's strategy. If you flood the voter rolls with people who feel indebted to your party for letting them in, you reshape the political map for decades. Kennedy hits an important cultural note here. He asks, if you oppose illegal immigration but support legal immigration, does that make you racist? Noem answers exactly as every American patriot should. No. It means you believe in the rule of law. It means you value a system that works for everyone, regardless of race. The left loves to blur that line, to make opposition to lawlessness sound like bigotry. But it's not. It's about fairness. It's about sovereignty. And it's about the Constitution. Kennedy's last major point is about the courts. When Biden opened the floodgates, where were the judges with nationwide injunctions to stop it? Nowhere. But when states try to enforce the law, suddenly the courts spring into action to block them. Kennedy nails it. If it weren't for double standards, there wouldn't be any standards at all. Now here's where we step back. This isn't just about one exchange between a senator and a governor. It's about the ongoing battle for the soul of America's immigration policy. We have two competing visions. A nation with borders, laws, and order. A territory where anyone can walk in, unvetted, and be given the same rights as citizens. History shows us, from Rome to modern Europe, that without controlled borders, a nation's identity erodes. Its culture becomes unrecognizable. Its citizens lose faith in the very idea of citizenship. The border is more than a line on a map. It's a statement. This is where our sovereignty begins. This is where the rule of law applies. Senator Kennedy and Kristi Noem's exchange is a reminder that defending the border is defending the nation. If we abandon that, we abandon the very idea of the United States as a sovereign country. This is America Viewpoint, where we don't whisper, we roar. We stand tall, speak loud, and never back down from defending truth and liberty. If this message fired you up, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the fight for America doesn't end when the video does. Until next time, stay strong, stay free, and may God bless the United States of America.